Hi everyone, I'm delighted to introduce the new podcast series created by the Creative Economy Initiative. I'm Dr. Manny Ling. I'm the Interim Deputy Dean of the School of Communication and Design. The Creative Economy Initiative is set up by RMIT Vietnam and Project Pluto, who is a creative agency based in Ho Chi Minh City. The initiative aims to facilitate young designers, graduates, creative entrepreneurs and creators to navigate the creative landscape in Vietnam. We will explore the challenges facing Vietnam's creative economy, and we hope to bridge the business gaps, skill gaps for young designers and graduates, and to improve resource accessibility and to foster collaborative opportunities with different stakeholders. So during this podcast session, we will discuss the issues surrounding young emerging creators in Vietnam and how two professionals here overcome some of these challenges and to share their creative journeys with us today. So welcome to the session this morning. The podcast today is titled Next Gen Narrative, How Young Creators Are Telling Vietnam's New Stories. And we are delighted that you two are here to share your experience and stories with us today. Now, the first guest today is Mr. Ha Huy Quang, who is the co-founder, art director, and animation supervisor from DeeDee Animation, based in Hanoi. Quang has previously worked with well-renowned studios and have worked on animating some legendary characters such as Mickey Mouse and DC Heroes. Amongst many notable awards, he is also the co-author of a book on building an animation career, published in Vietnam in 2023. So welcome.
Pleasure to be here.
Yeah. Our second guest is Mr. Quynh. He's a moving image artist based in Vietnam. He works as a director, screenwriter, producer, and editor, and has produced many notable short films, documentaries, videos that includes music videos and installations, and have exhibited internationally. Since 2022, he has joined the Babu Collective, where he founded the Hoa Quan Cinema. So, big welcome to you both.
Thank you for having me.
So, the theme for this episode is to celebrate and explore how young Vietnamese creators are using their creative medium to tell compelling modern stories that are uniquely Vietnamese and yet still have this sort of global appeal. I would welcome your perspective and your approaches to your journey through your kind of your career so far. Now, I believe both of you have studied abroad and in Vietnam, and I think these experiences must have shaped or influenced the way that you work now. So let's go to the first question of the session, and that is to talk about what I call the spark. The moment of inspirations for you, of how that has influenced the way that you first of all, to begin your creative journey, and how has that experience shaped the way that you work now? So maybe I can start with you first, Joanne, to share your story with us.
First of all, I really want to thank you and thanks to RMIT for this opportunity. It was such an honor to be here and to be the part of like the very first episode of podcast, this series of podcasts. I start my journey as a filmmaker somewhere like when I decide like I want to be a filmmaker is somewhere when I was like 11, you know.
Wow, as young as that.
Yeah.
Amazing.
At that time, I remember it was like the third or the second edition of like year of running a TPD, and they have this very special course for young teenager to like tiptoe to know what documentaries and filmmaking is.
Okay.
That one, but like I think what really like inspired me, like the love that I have for such medium, audiovisual, moving image and film, probably start when I was like very little kid. I was born in 1997, at that time was like also a time when like Vietnam like has only a few years like open to the world again. So every house has like a TV, and a TV is like it's like a culture hub, like you know, like people, neighborhood, family gathering, and I think that I'm the type of generation who like grown up next to a TV glow a lot, especially like my parents. They are very young. They were like early 20s when they have me. I'm also like having some problem with like going to kindergarten because I always try to sneak out so many times. So in the end, like my mom decided to have me like homeschool, and she's gave me a little bit of money. So every day, you know, like back in the day, we have a national television that show a kind of limited content. But at that time, it also like the blooming market of like how I say, is it a type of like illegal
Bootleg.
That's a word. Video content from market like VHS and DVD and stuff. So I remember I was like, my mom gave me a little money so I can just like walk to a CD shop near my house, and every day I rent a film or CD. So my childhood is all about like B horror, B horror and Britney Spears. So it's like type of
Fantastic. So at that time it was very popular to have these video rental shops, right?
It's true.
And
choose and rent out
videos or
yeah.
DVDs to watch. Maybe we go to your career later. I'd like to maybe ask to hear from Hoàng your early kind of inspiration or spark.
Actually, my early inspiration sounds very similar to what Xuyen went through as a kid. Even though I was born way earlier, I was born in 1989. But as I was growing up, I was also watching a lot of TV. And one of my favorite programs on TV back in the days, I think it was like around 92, 93. That was the first time when the national television company started showing international programs imported and translated into Vietnamese. One of those programs was about behind the scenes of movies. And one of the episodes they showed on TV was based on, at the time, my favorite cartoons, The Lion King. And it was the behind the scene of The Lion King. When I was watching the movie The Lion King, for me that was just like, this is a cartoon, this is very fun, this is very colorful and very interesting. I loved it. I went through all the dialogues, and I learned all the dialogues by heart in Vietnamese because it was translated in Vietnamese. But the moment I saw the behind the scene of that movie, and I saw that there are actual people who were sitting looking at real lions, drawing them as inspiration, and then they brought those drawings back to their desk and turned them into movements by drawing a lot of drawings. That was magic. For me, that was a revelation. That was something happened in my head at that time.
How old were you then?
I think I was like around 4-year-old.
Wow, as young as that.
Yeah, 4-year-old. I was loving drawing back then already, but the moment I saw that episode of behind the scene of The Lion King, I knew that I want to do what they do. I just didn't know what it was called back then, because obviously that was not like a thing that people actually did back in the days, except for the state-owned animation studio, which was not very popular for children back then, even though they did show a lot of Vietnamese cartoons on TV, but it was not very popular. But I knew that was what I wanted to do. I just didn't know what it was called. And as I was growing up and I was watching more and more animation on TV and on VHS, on DVDs and on cable TV, I slowly realized that this is what I wanted to do. But the industry was still not starting up as I was way into my teenage years. So the only thing that I thought that was close to making animation was making comic books. So I joined online forums about comic books. I joined communities. I made friends in the comic book communities. I became one of the first people in Vietnam back in those early 2000 years that was very active online about making comic books, learning from international comic books like Japanese mangas and American superhero comics. And by the time I was in college, I was way into the last year of my college years in Vietnam. I decided that no, I want to make animation. I want to do animation because people were starting to do that. People were starting to learn 3D animation, and I thought to myself that, well, everyone else is doing 3D animation. I want to do 2D animation because obviously this is something that not a lot of people are doing. Not a lot of people are doing well, and I want to learn that from the international market. I want to learn that from the people who already did that for hundreds of years, especially in the US. So I decided that that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe just fast track a little bit to your university
Yep.
times. It must be very different studying in Vietnam and studying abroad, right? Maybe you can share with the audience the differences and how has those experiences helped to shape what you do now. So yeah, maybe you can start.
I'm in a very special case with me that I at first I applied to a Vietnamese school,
Yeah.
the government school, Hanoi Academy of Cinema and Theater. But then at that time they have a special course that they pick out 7 kids that gonna study also simultaneously a program from a school from Brussels called ANSES. So it's crazy. It's like you study completely full program of 2 schools simultaneously, and I think what very special about it that instead of they sent me there, they actually they sent professor coming to Vietnam, and we study and practice in our such environment. And whenever we have for example, I have a post production, I will come to Brussels. So it's back and forth situation,
Yeah.
and it's very crazy. It's very different, the 2 system, how they form my language.
Time, were there differences in how your subject was taught between the 2 universities?
For example, the Vietnamese school that I went to, they of course we have to start with Mark Lenin, with a little bit of that, and all of them my professor, they are coming from a different era of cinema.
Sure. Yeah.
And also different ways of the system of making.
Yes.
Completely 2 different. One is the government run studio, and the other side is the independent personal funding or government funding type, the Europe type.
Yeah.
So it's really different. Yeah.
So how has your university education and then your early career shaped how you work today?
At that time, it's I before I have no a little bit idea of what cinema or filmmaking is. I think when I was younger, the reason that makes me want to do film is because the pure love and curiosity for it. When you making film, it really, when I started, it makes me question a lot about not only the thing that I have consumed, but also the format of audiovisual itself, and it's really shown in my work, the way that I always try to question the context of the world that I lived in, and also going to experimental on the form, the language, or any element that like create the idea of the form of such moving image.
Yeah. So over time, you're developing your own voice through the medium that you're familiar with. Yeah, we will come back to that. Maybe go to Hoàng here to talk about your earlier sort of university experience and how has that.
So, so when I was studying in Vietnam, I was studying something entirely different. I was studying architecture at the Hanoi Civil Engineering University.
Yeah.
And I didn't really enjoy that. But it gave me the experience and the idea that making art is something important.
Something creative.
Exactly. As I was studying before getting into that university, I had to take classes in drawings, a lot of drawings, a lot of fundamental in fine art, and that gave me the I think the base skill set that prepared me for the journey ahead. So by the time I got to the 5th year in university in Vietnam, I decided that I wanted to do something else. And fortunately for me, it was one of the privileges that I had was that my parents finally could afford to give me the chance to take on my dream, basically. And they allowed me to go to the US to study animation. And that was it. That was like a life-changing moment for me. And when I went to the US to study animation, I went to San Francisco. I studied at the Academy of Art University in San Francisco. And basically, during the time I was there, I was focusing mostly on honing my skills in animation, which is not something that every animation school focuses on. But for the school that I was going to, that was one of the most important things for them. And also it was one of the things that I personally think is most important when it comes to animation, regardless of the style, regardless of the priority you have for the form. And because I think that whenever people watch animation, they will realize that the movement is smooth or not, which is something very easy to recognize. And I really appreciated the fact that our teachers there was really allowing us the time and the opportunities to actually focusing on that, as well as the art of storytelling as well. So I was not only studying animation as a skill, as drawing after drawing, but also we were studying making films. So anything that involves filmmaking, we had to learn as well. We had to take classes on history of filmmaking. We had to take classes on how to create storyboards and how to move the cameras around, how to decide on shot sizes and stuff. We also had to take classes on writing as well. So basically we were learning filmmaking, but instead of holding a camera on our face, we use a pen to draw.
And the lens through your head.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm interested in the storytelling, the narrative building aspect. Both of you work with storytelling, very strong, compelling storytelling. Obviously, you learn aspects of that through your university education and through your early careers. I assume now you have a much stronger voice. You have a stronger direction of what you want to achieve. But for young creators, that's often very challenging, right? Because they still don't know their voice, their language. So what advice would you give to young creators to begin that journey? Not necessarily to be like a microwave, just speed up the process, but what advice or tips would you give to these young creators so that they can ease themselves?
I think for me personally, I think you will agree, filmmaking is a language. It's just like English or Vietnamese. So we all have ideas in our head. We all have stories that we want to tell about ourselves. Self-expression is a need for everyone, and it's just a matter of how you're telling it to the world. Some people will use singing. Some people will use songwriting. Some people will use sculpting. We tell stories through audio visuals, through filmmaking, right? That's basically, for me, that's it. If you learn enough of the language, the way that you can tell your stories, to express the ideas in your head into either words or visuals or drawings, or holding the camera at the right things, at the right places, at the right people, then you're telling your stories, right?
What about your
I completely agree with what he said.
Yeah.
But also I think as like a filmmaking is really, it have very like distinctive, like special to it, because like we creating not only like something you can hold or touch,
Right.
or it's something you can, it's like you're creating a whole like reality. It's not like a lonely work,
Exactly. Yeah.
It's like it's involved so many people,
Yeah.
and I think it's special because it costs a lot of money. So it's really like a life, like a living a life.
Yeah.
Like, so I think it's nothing else to do. It's like live it, like really submerge yourself in it. And some people told me when I was in school, like cinema is like an art of growth,
Yes.
It really is.
Yeah. You have to put yourselves into your characters. And for me, when I'm animating. One of the things that I have to do is I have to act out the things that my characters are acting.
Yeah.
So if you're holding a camera if you're standing behind the camera, whatever the character is doing, you have to tell your actors to do. And when the actors interpret your words into their movements, it might be different from what you're imagining from your head,
Yes,
right?
yes,
But for me, I have to draw it. So it's me. It's exactly me. The characters that you see on screen, that's me. That's who I am.
So it's a very close interpretation of your
Exactly.
voice,
Yeah.
right? Which leads to the next question, is about, because both of you work in a medium where you have to create your own world,
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
your head,
Yeah.
and then translate it onto your
Right.
expressions, right? What's that creative process like? Is it easy, or is it quite challenging?
Nope. You can take this first.
I mean, it's really hard to say because like, as for me, like audio visual, moving images, a wide range, and I also try a lot of different type of form, that like I start my first work like ever was not a film. It was like a video installation. At that time, Vietnam have a law, like a new law applied, that you are not allowed to show a smoking scene or act on any content.
Right.
So I want to play something with it. It's not about a film that promoting smoking, Not every act of smoke
But it's
is
a provocation, right?
is like a fictionalized cigarette advertisement. So it's very playful that
Yes.
so at that time, like practicing with my own method, my own medium was something that very chill, not like chill, but like it's just like I'm a baby. I have a pad, I have a few people, I have one camera and like one studio, then we just do whatever we can with it. And learning through practicing is really my thing. Every time I pick up a new project, I try to do something that I haven't tried before and learn something from
That's
it.
very interesting. So obviously both of you are Vietnamese, right?
Yeah.
So when you create your work, do you consciously inject aspects of Vietnameseness into your work, or that doesn't really come into it?
Yes and no.
Yeah.
Obviously, because I work with international clients
Yes,
a lot. So when I do that, when I work on those projects, I try not to be Vietnamese, because with those characters like Mickey Mouse and Batman, Superman, I grew up loving those characters, obviously, and I understand who they are. So I can do them. I can make them as the clients ask for how they are supposed to be. But at the same time, the cool thing about animation for me is that it's still me. I was born in Vietnam. I grew up as a Vietnamese person. I speak Vietnamese. So whatever I put into those characters, whether they want it or not, that's Vietnamese. Vietnamese people put down the pen and drew those images that they use in their products. You have a Vietnamese characters right there. That's a Vietnamese Superman, whether you like it or not. So for me, so that's the thing about unconscious, injecting ourselves into the characters. We never intended to put ourselves into those characters, but because we drew them, so they are a part of us. So even though they are not Vietnamese, they still have a bit of ourselves in there. And obviously, when we work on our own projects, our original ideas, we don't force ourselves to have to be Vietnamese in every way we want. We just tell our authentic stories. We basically, because I'm Vietnamese, I live in Vietnam. I live a Vietnamese life, and when I tell my stories, it's a Vietnamese stories.
Inherently.
You cannot avoid that. You cannot run from that. Whatever else I do that is original, that is mine, it's gonna be Vietnamese, whether I try to do it or not. So it's very organic.
What about your work?
I really agree with him. Yeah, that's what I really think that truly in line with what I'm thinking, but also when I compare to me as like a filmmaker, film and movie and cinema, even photography is a medium that like the Western invention.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
And so many of us, like for example, you and me, we are both like the audience, the consumer, that mostly was like being spoon-feeded by the bigger industry, like the first cinema or like the first world country. And somehow like that's what also I really like to talk about in my film, that how what we consume visually, that was like affect our subconscious, like
Of course. Yes.
and somehow like when we see like what happened now in the market, I mean not only in Vietnam but in so many like smaller market, we can see a lot of trace of an effort of recreating something from the first cinema. And what that is what I really aware of, you know, because like there's so many things that makes when you see a country, you see it through their culture.
Yeah.
And by culture, their content. For example, you see Korea, you will have instantly, even if they not open them out or if they not like doing anything, you can constantly see it's Korea or it's Thai. Like it's not like something that can line out, but something like it's like a secret flavor.
Subtle. It's not quantifiable.
It's like something sprinkled in there, and I think that's what I really want to emerge in my film, the little sprinkle of the.
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
When I watch, say, Kung Fu Panda, for
Sure.
the way it's animated, the storytelling, I can imagine it's developed by Chinese animators, not Hollywood animators, right? Because it's very subtle, some of the things they say or do, the movements, etc.
Yeah.
So,